Building a model of the Messerschmitt Bf 109. The Messerschmitt Bf 109, often called the ME 109, is one of the most iconic fighter aircraft in aviation history. Designed in the mid-1930s by Willy Messerschmitt for the German Luftwaffe, it introduced revolutionary features for its time: an all-metal stressed skin design, a closed canopy, retractable landing gear, and a powerful inline engine. Historical highlights. The prototype Bf 109 first flew in 1935, initially powered by a Rolls-Royce Kestrel engine, as Germany lacked suitable engines of its own. Later versions adopted the Junkers Jumo 210. Combat trials in the Spanish Civil War quickly proved its superiority against most rivals, including the Soviet Polikarpov 16. Early versions, such as the B, C, and D models, were lightly armed but effective. By 1939, the Bf 109 had become the Luftwaffe's primary fighter, excelling in the Blitzkrieg campaigns across Europe. The Bf 109E, powered by the Daimler-Benz DB601 engine, dominated the skies in the early war years, though it faced a critical test during the Battle of Britain. There, its limited range restricted its ability to maintain air superiority. Later variants, like the F and the widely produced G model, brought aerodynamic refinements and heavier armament. The G series served across every theater of war, from the deserts of North Africa to the vast Eastern Front. Even as Allied fighters such as the P-51 Mustang appeared, the Bf 109 remained Germany's workhorse. The final K variant, introduced in 1944, featured greater firepower and speed, though by then, dwindling resources limited its impact. In all, more than 33,000 were built, making the Bf 109 the most produced fighter aircraft in history. It was flown by many of the Luftwaffe's top aces, including Erich Hartmann, the highest-scoring fighter pilot of all time. The Gallow's Bf 109 model. This 1/24 scale Gallows kit is designed to replicate the Bf 109 in detail. While it is aerodynamically capable of flight, this build was created strictly for display. Not every detail of the real aircraft is represented, but the model captures the streamlined fuselage, distinctive wingtips, and the characteristic spinner, paying tribute to one of the defining fighters of World War II. Wing construction. The build begins with the wing. Leading and trailing edges were laid out and cemented in place. A mini-square kept the ribs perfectly aligned as they were installed, giving the wing its airfoil shape. The ailerons, missing from the kit, were scratch-built for authenticity. To achieve the correct dihedral, the subtle upward angle that improves stability, the wing tips were raised to 6.3 degrees. Spars running the length of the wing added strength and rigidity. Split flaps, also absent from the kit, were fabricated by hand. The wheel wells were created using a cardboard template, transferred to balsa wood for a realistic structure. Rudder and stabilizer. The rudder and horizontal stabilizer were pinned to the plans. Thin balsa stringers were cut and glued into place, creating their framework. The kit was modified to allow the rudder and elevator to move, enhancing realism. Once assembled, the leading and trailing edges were carefully sanded to shape. Fuselage. The fuselage was built in two halves. The top and bottom spars were pinned to the plan, and ribs were added with alignment blocks to ensure accuracy. A side spar was then attached. Once dry, the framework was lifted from the board, and the opposite side was completed. Stringers were added along the length of the fuselage, giving it strength and contour. The kit's flat plastic tail wheel was replaced with a 3D printed wheel mounted in a fabricated housing, another small touch to increase realism. Covering the model. Rather than using the tissue paper provided in the kit, the model was covered with silk span, a traditional lightweight material with longer fibers for extra strength and a smoother finish. Each part of the airplane, wing, fuselage, rudder, and stabilizer was covered before assembly. All parts were sealed with a solution of 50% EZE dope and water, and then lightly sanded. Just a note, the EZE dope, while adequate, will never replace clear dope for sticking and sealing qualities. The silk span was applied wet, and as it dried, it tightened securely over the frame. Finally, 3 coats of diluted EZDE dope sealed the covering before final assembly. Propeller and spinner. The kit's 2-blade flying propeller was replaced with a scale 3-blade version mounted inside the spinner. A shaft installed in the cowling supports both the propeller and the nose cannon, completing the aircraft's signature look. Cockpit. Inside the cockpit, the simple kit seat was replaced with a detailed 3D printed assembly. This included the pilot seat, control stick, rudder pedals, flap control wheel, and oxygen control unit, adding significant authenticity to the interior. The cockpit structure inside the fuselage had to be modified to accept the assembly. Painting the model. During the war, the Bf-109 appeared in many paint schemes, including desert camouflage for North Africa. For this build, the scheme chosen represents an aircraft from the Battle of Britain. The underside is painted light blue, while the upper surfaces carry a gray-green camouflage. A yellow cowling, spinner, and wingtips provide the finishing touches, bright markings that helped pilots quickly identify friend from foe in the heat of combat. Antenna wires were then attached from the antenna post just behind the cockpit to the rudder and horizontal stabilizer. Decals completed the model. Closing. The Messerschmitt Bf 109 combined engineering innovation with combat effectiveness, making it one of history's most significant fighters. This model, built with careful detail, captures not just the shape of the aircraft, but the story it represents, a story of rapid technological change and the fierce battles that defined the skies of World War II.